Hello and welcome to Ranking the Gundam Series Protagonist, now using Tier Maker. Our ranking software has improved. It's no longer just a Google Doc. There are now pictures of the characters as well. And I'm using a tier list that seems to be pretty popular on Tier Maker's website for Gundam Protagonist. It has some characters I probably would not have put on the list, mostly because we don't talk about G-Savior. But it's fine. We're going to break this down. We're going to rank them just the way we always used to with the Google Doc, but we're going to do it now with pictures and with the ability to name the tiers whatever I want. I've chosen Triple S, S, A, B, C, D, shows I haven't seen / finished, and pacifists who kill more people by being pacifists. So, without too much more ado, let's get started. And we'll start with our trash tier, and we'll dump Kira right there. Just, a little bit of Kira Yamato. Just, sometimes you just have to put Kira in the place where he belongs. And in this situation, he belongs in the pacifist who kill more people by being pacifist tier. And he's joined in that tier by Kyo Asuno, Gerard Spriggan, Sarah Cobbis, you will be missed. Who cares about Gerard Spriggan? But Sarah Cobbis will be missed. From there, I really wish I had one more tier that I had made just for like characters that I really am completely ambivalent about. We're not gonna go directly in order here. We're gonna put Mr. Mark, what's his name? Mark, I think. I have it pulled up because I couldn't remember it off the top of my head. It's Mark Curran from G-Savior. He's just gonna go right there in D tier. Which is technically the bottom tier because these other two tiers don't exist. This is the trash tier, and this is the, and we're going to go ahead and dump those in there. Haven't finished Build Divers. Don't have a lot of desire to. I'll go back and do it someday. I just don't have a lot of desire to finish Build Divers right now. It's Build Divers, right? Not terrible, I guess, but it kind of in some ways is. It's a cool idea that I think is executed really poorly, and I need to go back and finish it so that I can have a full opinion on it. But that's why I'm not going to try and rank him, because it's not really fair to him. And then narrative, still haven't seen narrative yet, so can't rank him. Not fair. From there, let's go ahead and just get into it, I suppose, because I think that's all of the like super trash tier, haven't seen, and don't really care. Or actually, like, it's not his fault. He wasn't terrible, but I also don't really like him. We're also gonna throw, I had to look her name up too because I couldn't remember it, Arlette from Twilight Access in D. I think she's got a really cool character design. Twilight Access is just too rushed to really know much about her character. I need to read the manga, but this is specifically for the shows. I should clarify, this is for the television series or OVAs. This is not for mangas. This is not for side stories. This is just for how they are in their series. And Arlette just doesn't have enough time in the series to really be able to have anything going on, Oh, this is when it begins to get difficult. Oh, boy. Okay. Who else? I guess we should just go from the bottom and work our way up, right? Although we could go ahead and just throw Laurent Sehak Triple S tier. Easy. I think it's been well documented on this channel by this point that Turn A and I have this, like, unshakable relationship now, because Turn A Gundam is my absolute favorite Gundam series. It is absolutely amazing, in my opinion, and more people should watch it, because it's really good. And Laurent Sehak as a character is really good. I think the way that he is responding to situations, having to try and decide how he wants to handle things, trying to decide what to do about most of the situations that he's in, I think are really good. And the choices that he makes, I think, are really solid. I think that Laurent he probably handles it the best out of all of them. And is a pacifist that does not kill more people by being a pacifist, Kira. So, Triple S tier. Easy. From there, oh man, who next, right? Domon Kaju, Triple S tier. I said I was going to go from the bottom, immediately went from the top. Triple S tier. Domon Kashu is great. Domon has this arc where he's angry because his family's dead and his brother's gone and he can't find him. And his master is doing these terrible things. And he has this arc where he has to try and overcome his feelings about all this and be able to calm his anger while also still coming to terms with his feelings for Rain and everything going on with Allenby and then all the other fighters and then what he finds out about his family and the way that he overcomes that arc to become the King of Hearts is really cool. I absolutely love Domon Kashu. I think he is a great character, and I think a lot of people discount him as a character because they look at G-Gundam and go, oh, G-Gundam's just a show about fighting and about punching and erupting burning fingers. And it's like, no, G-Gundam has a really good story. You should probably watch it again if you don't remember the story. I mean, we might as well start hitting from the bottom now, too, and I'm going to move Ko Araki to C tier. I don't hate Ko. I kind of hate Ko. We might bump Ko back down to D tier. I kind of hate Ko. The fact that he just lets himself get used over and over again. The fact that he gets this, like... This almost, like... I don't even know what the right word is. It's like a terrible relationship with Nina Purpleton, where he knows she's not going to choose him, right? He knows that she's still in love with Gato, but he still wants to try and be with her anyway, even though he knows it's not going to work out. And it comes at the cost of everything he's trying to protect. Like, he cannot fight Gato and not hurt Nina in the process. And it leads to this really, like, it's kind of a good moment, right? Which is why he'll probably stay in C tier, of Ko throwing himself against Gato and not caring how much it's going to hurt Nina. But up until that point, there's just all this, like, will they, won't they, Nina love triangle thing, and I really hate it, and Ko is one of the weakest parts of that. I really like Gato as a character, and Ko as a reverse, like as a foil to Gato, just does not work for me. Not a huge fan of Ko Araki. I think I'll put Sven in C as well. There's nothing wrong with Sven, you know? Sven's fine. I just also don't super like Sven. Stargazer, it was kind of short, too. But unlike Twilight Axis, I feel like I got a pretty good idea of who Sven is. And I liked him. You know, he's not bad. In that same way, I'm probably going to put Oliver in C. I don't hate Oliver, but I also don't super like Oliver. He's just like, sure, he's cool. You know? I like that he has that other look on the idea of how machinery is, but he may get moved up to B now that I think about this, because it's been a while since I've seen Igloo, but I just remembered this. I really like the way that he's kind of upset that they're making all these machines of war and then they're just gonna get trashed. Like, he's one of the few characters in Gundam that looks at it from the machine's point of view for a minute and is like, man, this is actually kind of depressing, you know? So they wind up moving him up to C. We'll see how the rest of the list goes and decide then. I'm hovering on I.O. Fleming right now. Because on one hand, I hate I.O. Fleming, right? Like, he's a terrible human being. But on the other hand, he's an amazing character. Like, the fact that he is just a massive jerk. And he loves it. And he will not let himself not be that. You know, he is always going to be that jerk. Io's going in at least A, for sure. I love that Io is the bad guy. He knows he's the bad guy and he's not afraid. He will literally taunt people about the loss of their appendages. He does not care. And something about I.O. Fleming, I just can't... Pop filter's falling. I just can't not give it to him, you know? It's great. It's great. I added a tier because I felt like we really just needed one more tier in between there. And as I'm looking at it, there's another character that we missed in the pacifists who kill more people by being pacifists. Because in trying not to kill people, Bellry winds up getting his teacher and Captain Cahill killed. Both of which are, like, traumatic to people that he knows. And Bellry is not always a pacifist. He flip-flops. But I still feel like he belongs in that tier of it's your fault people die because you couldn't make up your mind. And not in the good, like, well-developed character way, as we'll get to with some other characters later, but in the I flip-flop back and forth between my own ideals kind of way. So you can stay in that tier. Bell reason them. And I'm going to put Shin in C tier, because I've moved these down to D tier. I'm going to put Shin in C tier, because, like, I know what you're going to say. Back half of the series of Destiny, Shin is terrible. Back half of the series, Shin is like Durandal's like lapdog, and is absolutely, he has no agency of his own. He's absolutely terrible. But front half of the series, Shin is so good. Front half of the series, front half of Destiny Shin is a character that goes, I don't know if we can trust this guy. When somebody goes, hey, I'm from this secret, like, military organization inside Zaft, and I'm here to literally have power over all of you. And everybody else is like, yeah, sure, okay, that makes sense. When Heine Westenflue shows up, and Shin's like, I don't know about this guy. Then, like, when Atherin starts throwing his weight around, because he's Atherin Zala, Shin is like, I don't know about this one either. Everything to do with Shin and his family, him not liking Kira because Kira was responsible through Kira doing his Kira thing of being a pacifist that got more people killed. Shin's family is killed in it. And that first half of Destiny, where Shin is just trying to get revenge for his family, he's trying to defend the people that he's come to know as a new family, that all's really good. And then it all kind of just falls apart after he kills Kira, and his character is thrown away and doesn't matter anymore. So as much as I want to put him in a B or an A, I have to put him in a C. And because of the first half, I feel like he can't be in D or E. But he's going to go in a C. In that same vein is Asuno, who for his part is pretty cool. His stuff with Zeheart gets a little too much sometimes, of just the idea of, I have to, no, Zeheart, no, my friend, Zeheart. But, like, as a character, he's not bad. He makes mistakes, he learns from them. Unlike other characters in lower tiers on this list that get people killed because they're stupid, he gets somebody killed by making a regular mistake that I could fully understand in his character had been built up to be made. And it works. It's a really good scene. And then, unfortunately, the Kyo stuff happens, and you have that Asumu just leaves his son behind for no reason to go chase after his best friend, because his best friend definitely meant more to him than his son. And then you have that he's kind of just a pirate who, even after he's reunited with his son, still doesn't really want to spend time with him. It just was like, oh man, okay, alright, yeah, sure. Way to kill his character, I guess. Another character going in C tier is Uso Ewin. I like Uso. I don't hate Uso. I think Uso's pretty cool. He gets this fixation on Katajina, and I feel like it's not his fault, right? He's just a kid. He's one of the youngest Gundam characters. But I hate Katajina. With every fiber of my being, she's my least favorite character in literally all of Gundam. And to see Uso fixated on her the way that he is, it's like at times he's bending over backwards for her, and I'm just like, why? Uso, literally, why? Shakti is right there, Uso. Uso also makes a bunch of mistakes that get people killed, but again, it's in line with his character when it happens, so it doesn't upset me as much. I like Uso, but C tier is where he's gonna stay. That's middle of the road. You know, that seems fair. I'm not super up on you or super down on you. That's middle of the road. I'm saving some of these because I think we all know where some of these are going to throw down. But let's talk about Garen Ran. S tier. Garen Ran is S tier. Garen Ran is the kid who Gundam jacks, right? He's the one who does the thing, and he jacks the Gundam, and is completely normal, right? Every Gundam series for the most part has somebody jacking a Gundam. But Garrett Rand is the guy who's like above and beyond after jacking the Gundam, finds out there's also this girl, and is like, all right, guess I'll just steal them both. Garrett has this like energy, this excitement at all times, and it's really cool. And yeah, his romance with Tifa is kind of rushed, right? But it's not his romance with Tifa or his interactions with the new type dolphin that really make me like Garrett. It's the moments where he's desperately trying to fight against something he can't win against. When he fights a new type for the first time, and he's completely outclassed, and he has to work and work and work and work and work to be able to fight against new types, which is something that later Gundam shows just characters can just do. And it's like, no, but Garrett had to try. And he did. He succeeds, you know? And it's the interactions he has with Jamil. It's the way that he comes into his own as the Gundam pilot. I just really like Garrett. I think they did a really good job with this character, and it kind of hurts that people don't ever talk about him, you know? I think Garrett Rand's a really good character. I guess we'll do Hiro next. I'll put Hiro in B. I think Hiro's a really interesting character. He's not my favorite Gundam character, but I don't dislike him in any real way, you know? He's not going to go up to an A or an S, and he's certainly not a triple S for me. But, oh, I don't know, though. I just remembered a line that may push him up to A. How many times do I have to kill that girl and her dog? That is such a cool premise of every time he's a killer, and every time he kills, he sees... We're going to move him up to A. We're going to move him up to A, because he's just like... He's traumatized in a way, you know? And his job is to kill. He's literally named after someone that he killed. And it's just like having to come to terms with that and then still choosing to live his life his way is such a good character arc. I really like it. And his scene with Wu Fei in Endless Waltz, where as much as I'm not a huge fan of Wu Fei, where they have that conversation about what happens to the soldiers after the war, is still one of my favorite conversations in all of Gundam. So yeah, we're gonna put Hiro at A. He deserves it. Hiro Yui. All right, this one's gonna be a controversial choice. I'm fully aware. This may be where I lose some of you, but bear with me, because we're putting Flit Asuno in S. No, we're putting Flit Asuno in SS. And I have reasons. Hear me out. Flit Asuno. Just the kid who makes the Gundam, right? 14 years old, he's young, doesn't have a lot of life experience. The pilot that's supposed to pilot the Gundam that he made dies before he can get to it. So Flit has to pilot the Gundam to fight against the unknown alien threat known as the Vegans. At the time, they don't even know that, you know, what they're called. And as he fights them, he sees more and more people die from what they're doing. He sees death and destruction, and, you know, he falls in love with this girl, and then she gets used against him by the Vegans, and Flit snaps. He legitimately loses it. And he goes on a rage to the point where he shoves a beam saber into a space station to try and kill a man who is part of the Vegans. And it's just his rage and his anger at this group. He's 14 years old. And so few other Gundam protagonists will give in to the rage the way that Flit does. And then you get him later on where family's not important to him anymore. Nothing's important to him anymore but stopping the Vegans. He's become high up in the Federation military because his goal is to stop the Vegans because of all the things that they did. And he's got a family, but what does it matter anymore? His goal is to stop the Vegans so nobody else's family gets destroyed. This man dedicates his entire life to stopping the Vegans, to the point where as an old man, he launches in his Gundam again with a nuke, with the intent to kill the Vegans and bring peace to Earth. Kyo, unfortunately, has to be Kyo. But Flit, I don't feel like we should punish Flit for Kyo and what Kyo and Asamu do. I think Flit as a character is top tier. And the fact that he's super flawed, he cannot come to terms with the loss of his mom and the loss of Yurien. And so he goes off the deep end. And at no point does he stray from that path until he's forced to by Kyo. And I just think he's a really consistent, really great character. So for sure, triple S tier. We might as well go from one of the best, at least one of my favorites, to one of my least favorites. Reiji is not on this list, but his lookalike is. Man, I don't even know. Sekai is just kind of a nothing, you know? I guess we'll go D tier, because he's just like... His motivation is... I don't even know, you know? He fights alongside you and Fumina for what? To do it? Because he likes Gundam fights? Sure. But he doesn't really have like a character arc. He's just kind of the guy who fights. His arc, I guess, is learning how to build. But we already had that arc with Reiji, and it was a good arc with Reiji. We might move Sekai down to E. We might move Sekai down to E. And then you have the whole thing of like all the different women just fawning over him. Why? For what purpose? I think Fumina or you would have been way more interesting as a main character. Or Minato Sakai. I think we're just going to leave him at D, but know that he's teetering on the edge of E if I remember something else. To offset that, though, say S tier. The only thing holding him back from Triple S is just a little bit more development when it comes to some other stuff, like his dad. We get nothing, really, between him and his dad. His dad doesn't even show up for half the series, and then when he does, it's just like, oh, hey, Dad's home. Like, but he's okay, I guess, sure. But other than that, Sei is a great character. Sei dreams of being on the white base. Sei is an unabashed Gundam nerd. He loves Gundam. And he loves to build them. And you get that great arc of he loves to build them, but he's afraid to fight with them. And so he's a bad fighter. Because he's afraid to break the things that he made. And having to come to terms with that to be able to battle alongside Reiji. And then to be able to fight on his own 2 feet. And I thought that was really good. That was really nice. I wish Reiji was on this list, because he would probably also be S tier. Because I really like Reiji and what they do with his character and the arc he takes as he learns that these aren't just cheap toys, but instead are the, a thing that he really can care about and come to terms with. Setsuna F. Seiei. I really like Setsuna. Teetering between A and B right now. Because I really like Setsuna. He has to grow through his interactions with Graham Aker and his interactions with Lock On Stratus and everything, and Saji Crossroad. He has to grow there. His relationship with Marina Ismail. If it was just 00, he'd be A. But I also think about Awakening of the Trailblazer. So I'm leaning towards B. I think of those characters, as much as I like Setsuna in 00, Graham Aker, Lock On Stratus, Alleluia Haptism, I think they are all more interesting characters than Setsuna. But Setsuna is true to his arc. We'll put Setsuna in B. Maybe I just need to rewatch Double O. But we're gonna put Setsuna in B. We're gonna put Amuro in A. Amuro's an A character. Amuro might be an S character. Like, if we're talking about Awakening the Trailblazer with Setsuna, then we gotta talk about Char's counterattack with Amuro. And we gotta talk about that moment where Amuro sees Char on the horse while he's driving the car, and Amuro pulls that car over, or pulls that car up next to Char on the horse, and jumps out of the car to tackle Char. Oh, that's a good moment. And that scene with him and Char in Zeta? Amuro's an S. The only thing keeping him from an SS is the rest of Zeta. Amuro in the rest of Zeta is just kind of there. You know? He doesn't do anything. He doesn't really become anything else. He has that moment where he flies a plane into a mobile suit, and that's really sick. And then he has that moment in the elevator, and that's really about it. But Amuro from, like, OG Gundam and Amuro from Char's Counterattack, top tier, man. Top tier. Let's talk about Shiro Amada. We'll put him in B. I'm going to live and marry Aina. I think that I would have cared a lot more about that relationship if I had more time to set it up. I think it would have been a lot more impactful. I would probably have put him in D if it was just his relationship with Aina. I may move him up to A, because now I'm thinking about his relationship with Sanders, and his relationship with Karen, and his relationship with Mikhail. And, of course, we can't not talk about him in the EZ8 trying to get the main camera back on so he can see, ripping off his own arm to be able to use as a weapon, yelling out, "I'm gonna live and marry Aina, and we'll go home together." We're gonna move him back up to an A. Shiro Amada's a really good character. I still just wish we'd had some more setup for that relationship between him and Aina to make it a little bit more believable. I know more time passes in that opening episode than seems, but I just would have liked a little bit more build up there. But regardless, the rest of 08 The Mess team really sells Shiro. And we're down to some tough ones now to rank. We're going to put Al in B tier. Al's a good kid. He doesn't get to do a lot. I really think that 0080 is more of the story of Bernie than it is Al. I know that Al is technically the main character, but I like Al. Al's good. Al's not bad at all. I really like that moment where he realizes the two people that are fighting, that it's Bernie and Christina, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. That's a really powerful moment. I think B's a good spot for him. I think B's also where we're going to put Banager. I don't hate Banager. There's a lot I'm not a huge fan of with Banager. I think that he repeats the God of Possibility line so many times in Unicorn, and it really got on my nerves towards the end of it. But Banager as a character is not terrible or anything. He also has the Alleluia Haptism problem of yelling out the woman he loves' name like 5 times an episode. That's an exaggeration, but we hear him say Audrey a lot. However, I think Banager's a really interesting character, and he's one of the few Gundam characters that does switch sides a lot, that I don't have a problem with him switching sides, because half the time he's not doing it by choice, and the other half the time he's not sure what he's meant to be doing, you know? And so I really do like Banager as a character, despite some annoyances with him, and I think B's a good spot for him with that. Man, we got some tough ones. I mean, how can I not put Char Triple S? There's probably too many people in Triple S tier, to be honest. But how can I not put Char up there? Because where Amuro has the kind of lackluster Zeta series, Char does not. And even if we're just talking about Origin Char is still great. But then you have OG Gundam Char, First Gundam Char, Zeta Gundam Char. Char's not in Zeta Gundam. What are you talking about? And Char's counterattack. There's no way I can't put him in there. Triple S tier for sure. Man, these next ones are gonna be tough. Okay. We got 4 characters left. I'm still thinking about Setsuna. I'm thinking about moving him up to A tier. Because you have that moment where he sits down with Saji and tries to talk about things. You have that moment where he and Lock-On are out there at the camp. You have the moments between him and Graham. Let's see where these 4 fall, and then we'll reevaluate Setsuna. Judo Ashita. I like Judo as a character. I really like Judo as a character. But Double Zeta has a lot of problems. And Judo has 2 massive flaws for me. And their names are Bicha and Mondo. And the fact that I talked about this with the Captain Bright when I've ranked captains. The fact that Judo just forgives them every time really, 100% really bothers me. Because there's no way he should have forgiven him. Either of them. With as much as they betrayed them. And then you have his problems with his sister, which are really good. And trying to deal with that, and with the Purus. And then you have his interactions with Glimmy, which are kind of and his interactions with Haman that are really good. And his interactions with Mashimir Cello that are kind of And his interactions with what's her name? I can't remember her name right now. The crazy. It's not Shara Soon. It's the crazy lady. They're kind of But his interactions with Ruluka, Elviano, Captain Bright, and Camille are all top tier. I think he's probably gonna go in C tier or B tier, and I can't seem to decide between the two. Let's put him in B, and then like Setsuna, we'll reevaluate him once everybody's on the list. Camille's a strong A, I think. Leaning on S. Camille goes through an arc throughout Zeta. And then while in a coma, comes back in Double Zeta to be able to help. I'm really leaning towards the S, but I think I'm going to keep Camille in A. He starts out as kind of a brat, but by the end of the series, he's gone through a complete arc, and he's a really interesting character, I think. His interactions with Jared are actually, like, compared to rivals, right? Oh, it made me think more about Setsuna and Graham. Okay, he's an A now, too. Because these two have the same thing going on of most rivals in Gundam are just like, they're rivals, you know? Then you have the good ones. You have Amuro and Char. You have Jared and Camille. You have Graham, Aker, and Setsuna Say. And they're nuanced. There's more than just we want to kill each other in there, or I have to beat him. It's not Izak, Jewel, and Kira Yamato. I have to do this or else this pain I feel will never go away. It's, Jared, you killed my mom. Jared, then to Camille, Camille, you killed my girlfriend. And there is this great moment where Jared is like, I killed his mom? His mom was in that? And like is genuinely upset. And there's a moment later on where Camille kills Jared's second girlfriend. And Camille is visibly upset when Jared gets mad about it. And it's like, oh man, I'm a terrible human. Like, he doesn't say that, but you can tell by the look on his face. He's like, I'm a terrible person. What have I done? And there's this nuanced relationship that the two of them have that finally ends in them facing off and Jared dying because one of the two of them had to go. There was no other way it could end at that point, and it was such a good way to do it, and such a good, powerful relationship they had. And that's not even getting into Camille and Lieutenant Emma, Camille and Rosamia Bottom, Camille and Lieutenant Quattro, Camille and Paptimus Shirako. Camille's relationships are all really interesting and nuanced, and Camille and Kotz. And I think Camille's a really good character, even if he does have a girl. He'll kill me for. I've been putting off these last two because I don't know where to put them, because I love both of these characters. But I also understand that they do have some problems, right? Mikazuki August is, in my opinion, an amazing character. but he has next to no agency of his own. Without Orga on this list, I don't know where I could put Mikazuki. Because on one hand, it is commendable that Mikazuki has no of his own agency. Like, he's completely dependent on Orga until, stuff happens. But on the other hand, I wish he had been a little bit more independent. And to be fair, towards the end, we get to see more of that independence. And he does make a lot of decisions that he probably shouldn't have made if he was just trying to do things the way Orga says. Like going to fight the Hashmal or stuff like right at the end. I don't want to spoil, I guess we've spoiled everything so far. But his decisions with Hush and everything there, he doesn't go to Orga first to make sure that stuff's okay. So I guess he does have enough agency. I just kind of wish he had more, but his agency's pretty good. Everything, like his interactions with Kudelia, that was all him too. You know what? He does have quite a bit more agency than I was giving him credit for. Where am I going to put him, though? I still think back to that moment where those guys are like, "No, you had to do what we're told because you're a bunch of orphans," and Mikazuki just blasts them, fires away. I think Mikazuki's a strong A. I think he's a strong A. He's not an S or a triple S for sure. I'll give you that. But I think he's a strong A. I think what he does and the consistency that he has in who he is and what's important to him are worth an A for sure. Where do I put Seabook Arno? This is just because, again, we're not including manga. I included the movies earlier. But we're not including manga. This is just Seabook Arno. This is not, there's a cat meowing. This is not Crossbone. This is not Side Stories. Just Seabook Arno. I really like Seabook Arno as a character. He doesn't have a lot of time. He just has that one OVA. And in that time, he spends a lot of it just trying to get Cecily back. But there's something to speak about his character, in my opinion, when he is out there and he's, Iron Mask is done and he's in the F-91 and Cecily is floating in space and he's trying to find her. He's desperately trying to find her. And you can, he's panicked. He's losing it. He thinks he's lost her. And it's a really good moment for his character because up until that point, he's kind of been able to answer everything with his own strength. Oh, the colony's being destroyed. Okay, let's get away. Let's run. Let's get to this tank, and I'll pilot this tank with all of your help, and we'll get out of this. And oh no, here come the bits. Well, it's okay. I've got the F-91 now. Let's go out and fight. Well, here comes Zabine. Okay, it's fine. I've got the F-91 now. Let's fight. Here's Iron Mask Karatsu. It's okay. I've got the F-91 now. Let's fight. And he doesn't have that option in that moment. And it's a really powerful moment for him. And, of course, the music helps, but I think that arc of... And it's not a very long arc, because there's not a lot of time, but I think that arc of overcoming who he has been, his own fears and everything like that, to be able to save the woman that he loves, to be able to protect his family, is really cool. And he's got this broken family, where he finds out that his mom made the F-91, and he's just like, all right, I'll use it. And I really like Seabook as a character. I wish we got more of Seabook. I really do. I think we're going to put him in a B. If we had gotten more, he probably could have made it to some of the higher tiers, but with what we got, I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll give this list one more pass over, just to make sure that we don't disagree with any placements now. Please, of course, let me know where you would put these people in the comment section down below, or make a video and comment with the link to the video, and I will watch it. And I will see what you thought of the characters. Triple S has Laron, Domon, Flit, and Char. Don't disagree with any of those. I think they absolutely deserve to be up there. S has Garrod, Sei, and Amuro. Absolutely. I do think it's kind of funny that this list is a little top-heavy. But I guess that just means that most Gundam protagonists are pretty good characters. Most, not all. A has Io Fleming, Hiro Yui, Shiro Amada, Camille Bidan, Setsuna Fse, and Mikazuki August. B has Al, Banagher, Judo, Seabook. C has Shin, Asumu, and Uso. D has Ko, Sven. Oh, his name just slipped my mind. I had it pulled up so I wouldn't forget it again. Oliver and Sekai. E has G Savior's Mark Curran and Al Arlet from Twilight Axis. Shows I haven't finished are the Build Divers and Narrative, because I haven't seen Narrative yet. And then the bottom of the barrel, the pacifist. I almost said the people. The pacifist who kill more people by being pacifists. Hiro Yamato, Kyo Asuno, Bell Resenum. And Kira, would you have something to say about your placement on this list? Truly the hero of this generation. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this list, where you would have put people, and again, if you make a video and link it in the description or in the comments, because you can't edit the description, haha. I'll watch it and post in the comments what I thought about it. I had ended this and everything and realized that I forgot to rank them individually inside the tiers. Come back to do that. Been some hours since I recorded the original. I was editing it when I realized I didn't do that. This top tier, that's the only change I would make. I think that's a pretty good tier. I think these are pretty good characters, and I think that's a pretty good ranking for them. The second tier, I would probably do... Why won't it let me move Amuro over? I know. I want to let me move... There we go. And there we go. That's the S tier. I think these, again, are really good characters and are in exactly the spot they need to be. Then I would probably do... This, and that looks good to me too. Let's do this though. There we go. We have Camille. Let's count it out. Laron, Domon. We have Char, and we have Flit in Triple S. Amuro, Sei, Garrett in S. We have Camille, Shiro, Io, Hiro. That's kind of funny. Mikazuki and Setsuna in A. That puts all three of our kind of emotionless boys at the end, with emotionless boy who makes his own path, emotionless boy who chooses his path, and emotionless boy who gets a path shoved upon him. All three in a row. Very good. For B tier, I think we're going to do this. If you let me. This, and then probably this, and call that a tier. Because I do really like Judo as a character. I just think these other three are better characters than he is. So it's Banagher and Seabook. And I'm actually torn. I could go either way on this. I could be convinced of either and not feel a thing about it. I think I might do this. Seabook, then Banagher, then Al, and then Judo. Then for the C tier, this seems fine. Honestly, the first half of Shin's character is really good, and then he's thrown away. The second half of the first half of Asumu's character is really good, then he's thrown away, and Uso is consistently fine the whole time. Ko is gonna go at the end, and we'll probably do this because I think Sven is fine. I think Oliver's fine. I don't really like either one of them personally. I actually kind of like Sekai more than both of them, even though Sekai's just a nothing. But I like Ko the least. And then these two. I mean, just because we'll put G Savior at the bottom, let's put Mark Kerr in there. And then I haven't finished either of these, so they don't count. And then Kira is always going to be the bottom, no matter what, of the list. At all times. Kira, how you feel about that? A salient point, Kira. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good line up for them to be where they are. I'm pretty happy with this. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And until next time, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Gundam has to offer.